What's up, everybody? Chris Flick here, Chris Flick Podcast, episode number 129. Today we're going to be talking about strengths, weaknesses, and filling the gap in between those two things, right? Now, it's my opinion here. We have our strengths, they're up top, they're the ceiling, right? And then we have our weaknesses, they're the floor. There's two ways that we could go about shrinking this gap, right? We could bring the ceiling down to our floor level, and then we're going to have two areas of weakness, or we could keep our strengths almost up here, right? We don't want to negatively affect our strengths too much, but what we do want to do is we want to raise that floor up. We want to bring the bottom up, right? We want to make our weaknesses not so weak anymore. And I think as a person in the local community, in the nation, right? Instead of trying to bring the top down, let's try to raise up the floor, right? Let's try to raise up things in your life that need to be raised up. Let's try to raise up the communities that need raising up. Let's try to raise up areas in this country that, we're seeing problems, right? Raise up the weak points, man. We don't have to negatively affect our strengths. Let's just raise up people that need to be risen up. And in our lives here, you take a look at your training, right? I'm going to talk about strength and conditioning right now. Some areas, right? Let's say you're somebody that can lift 1,000 pounds, right? But you could deadlift 1,000, but you can't walk upstairs without getting tired, or you can't sit in an airplane seat, all right? You have to come to the realization that you're gonna die a premature death, or you could not focus so much on that strength training and maybe get some cardiovascular work in, right? That would probably be a good thing. You could still go lift those weights if you want, man, but go take a 30-minute walk after that. Maybe you start eating a little bit better, all right? Maybe you try to drive up that physical activity level a little bit. Now let's say you're on the opposite end of that spectrum, right? Let's say your cardiovascular is great, man. You just ran a half a marathon. You're feeling good. Maybe you even ran a full marathon, right? What about your strength, man? Are your bones going to hold up over time? Can your bones take that pounding of that cardiovascular work? Your muscle mass is just getting deteriorated by all that training. So what we can do, maybe instead of running 3 days, you run 2 days a week, right? And you introduce a day of strength training here where you're just going to spend some time to focus on strength. That's it, right? We're trying to fill that gap. You don't want that gap to be huge, right? And then we have all the gaps, you have work and play, right? Too much work, not enough play, shrink that gap a little bit. Family, job, if you're spending too much time in one area, not the other area, shrink the gap a little bit, right? Shift your focus, shift your time, man. For me personally, I'm doing too much bilateral exercises. So I'm going to do some unilateral work, some one-arm work, some one-leg work, because I'm trying to shrink the gap, right? I don't want my training to be totally one-dimensional. I don't want anything I do in life to be totally one-dimensional. I want to have the ability to, maintain strength and improve weakness. How do you do that? Just constant daily practice and kind of constant, honest self-assessment. I think that might be the key to everything, is having an honest self-assessment on everything that you're doing. So detach, take a look at your training, take a look at your life, take a look at everything, right? Don't judge yourself for it. You might be terrible in one area. Don't beat yourself up about it. Detach. Pretend it's not you. Pretend it's somebody else. Self-assess. Try to correct. Reassess. Keep going over and over again. Peace, everybody.